The truth hurts. Black Lives Matter investigations. I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions, and I am continuing my quest to pull back the curtain on Black Lives Matter. The Black Lives Matter movement does not help the Black community. That may sound ironic, but it doesn't. And I highlighted movement because the movement is an entity, it is a thing. Black Lives Matter is a rallying cry. I don't have a problem with the rallying cry. I have a problem with the so called movement. The Black Lives Matter movement is not organized. I've been investigating Black Lives Matter, the movement, since I tried to make a donation and learned just how disorganized it is. There is no structure. You can't say, I want to speak to the Black Lives Matter president. You don't know who that is. I've never seen an organization that raises so much money be this disorganized. The blacklivesmatter.com website would be the headquarters or central location if it was organized. And then it would have the chapters. All of the chapters would work in a similar fashion, like a franchise to the main organization or main businesses. If Black Lives Matter, the movement, was organized, there would be rules to follow. But there are no rules to follow based on my investigations. All of the chapters seemingly operate the way they want to. No rules, no guidance, no organization. The Black Lives Matter movement does not have real leaders. There are no real leaders. They reference the founders, the three women who founded Black Lives Matter, but they have a hands-off approach. They don't work hands-on, day-to-day, managing, guiding, directing. They don't do anything with Black Lives Matter. Two of them have already branched off to start their own businesses. So they're not, Black Lives Matter, the movement does not have real leaders. When I looked at the chapters, there are no real leaders. If you look at the investigative reports that I've posted on my YouTube channel, you will see that there are no real leaders. You can't call upon the Black Lives Matter Denver chapter and say, who is the leader? Who can I talk to about my concerns? They're not there. The Black Lives Matter movement does not provide transparency. We have absolutely no idea where the money is going, where the millions of dollars are going. We don't know. Everybody, all of the chapters have their own links to donate. Most of them have fiscal sponsors that are supposed to be handling the money and the administrative tasks. But when you try to follow the money, it is as clear as mud in a hog's pen. You can't find it. You can't follow the money. The Black Lives Matter movement exploits tragedies. Do you notice how marches take place as soon as a tragic event happens? Now, protesting goes back centuries. People have always used the march to draw attention to issues. That's not unusual. But Black Lives Matter, the movement, exploits the tragedies. It's clear. It is so clear. When George Floyd was murdered, cha-ching, money into Black Lives Matter. And it's so sad. It's so sad to see this reality. Cha-ching! Every time a tragedy happens, because they know that there are going to be people who are going to march, and unfortunately, some are going to vandalize and riot. But all that does is draw attention to Black Lives Matter because they're marching with the Black Lives Matter posters worldwide. This is worldwide. Here we are. And a lot of people are saying that this time it's different. And I have to agree, it feels a little different this time. And I think for me, I think I was already feeling melancholy due to this COVID-19 pandemic. So you're already feeling a little bit anxious, if you will. And then I see a man murdered over 8 minutes and 46-second time frame. Of course, it's going to have some type of effect on you if you are a human being, if you care about human beings. That's why I wanted to make a donation, debit card in hand, until I started digging and saying, wait a minute, what in the world is this? I went to blacklivesmatter.com to make my donation, and then when I clicked on donate, it took me to some place called Act Blue. And then I started digging with Act Blue to learn about Act Blue. Act Blue is a pass-through for several organizations to process money. Why? I don't understand that. Why can't Black Lives Matter have its own transaction processing feature? So that's when I stopped and I said, let me stop. Let me try to figure out what's happening here. So here are the steps of how this process works in a nutshell, the 4 steps. Step 1, explore the tragedy. Whenever something terrible happens, exploit that to gain attention. Step 2, promote protests. Now, the leadership, whoever they may be, the people who are getting the money, they're not out protesting. No, they're letting these people protest to draw attention, worldwide attention. So promote the protest. The more people protest, the more money they get. Accept millions of dollars. This is so slick. This I have to tip my hat to them in a way because this is slick. This is slick. Okay. Now, Black Lives Matter. To me, that's a statement of fact, right? So you're protesting with that rallying cry that Black Lives Matter. That phrase is making or causing corporations to give millions of dollars because they cannot be in a position where they don't if they have Black employees. Because Black employees are looking at them saying, what are you going to do? Do you not care about us? And they are in such a hurry to just throw millions of dollars at Black Lives Matter so that they can look good to their employees. They are not even taking the time to research where the money actually goes. That's so sad because there are so many other credible, legitimate organizations that help the Black community that could use those millions of dollars. For example, the United Negro College Fund that supports historically Black colleges and universities to help students go to school. They could use those millions of dollars because HBCUs, the historically Black colleges and universities, are in a crisis. Many of them are closing down. But yet these corporations are feeling so guilty, they're just throwing money at Black Lives Matter, and it's not even going to the black community where they intended it to go. That's sad. Then you have celebrities. Celebrities are doing the same thing. I have to satisfy my fan base. I have to be seen given the Black Lives Matter. They don't have a clue how that money is being used or misused in this case. And that's what makes me so angry because people are giving money because they want to help the black community. And they're giving money because they think that Black Lives Matter is where to give the money when it's not. It would be logical for anybody. I thought it would be too. I was in the same boat. I thought it would be too. Why not? And then the fourth step, hide the millions. No one knows where this money is going. And blacklivesmatter.com just posted the other day, and I had to laugh. They just posted that they're going to set up grant. It starts today, July the 1st. Set up grant funding, right? They allocated $6.5 million in grant money for the chapters to apply, for the Black Lives Matter chapters to apply for up to $500,000. To do what? To do what? They're not doing anything now. There is no structure. If you're going to give someone a $500 grant, $500,000, you need to have some type of structure. You need to have some type of activities listed. We're going to use this money to start a community garden. We're going to use this money to host after school programs. We're going to use this money to provide laptop computers and internet access to children who have to learn from home due to COVID-19 pandemic. You need to have something tangibly written down so that you can implement, so that you can assign a budget to what you've written down, so that you would know you may not even need $500,000 for a chapter, for a Black Lives Matter chapter. Does the Black Lives Matter chapter in South Bend, Indiana need $500,000? So this lets you know something is not right. And then if you have $6.5 million, which I know they do. They have a whole lot more, but they're just allocating $6.5 million because they're feeling the heat from people asking where is the money going. You notice they keep it right here in Black Lives Matter because they know Black Lives Matter, the chapters, the entities, the nothing, they're not organized. So they think we're stupid. You're going to keep it at home because you want to continue to misuse the money. If you were very serious and sincere about helping the black community, then you will give to organizations like the United Negro College Fund, or maybe the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, or maybe the Innocence Project. But no, you're going to keep it right in your little circle because you know you're going to mismanage the money. Come on. But these are the 4 steps. Exploit tragedy is step 1. Step 2, promote protest. Step 3, accept millions. Step 4, hide millions. Like I said, the money could close the digital divide to help kids learn at home. This COVID-19 pandemic revealed the very serious gaping hole between children who had internet and laptop access versus the children who didn't. You see, when children had to stop going to school in March, people just said, oh, they'll just learn at home, as if everybody had access to computers at home. I know many black children who have not even talked to a teacher, seen a teacher, done any work at all since March, and now we're coming up on the summer. And we know the summer months are typically the time when children lose pace anyway, fall behind anyway. Can you imagine how far behind some black children are going to be whenever school starts back? Because they don't have what they need to continue learning at home. Black Lives Matter could have closed that gap if they really cared about the black community, if black lives really mattered to this movement, this is just one of many things they could do in the black community to help the black community. Black Lives Matter is a statement of fact for me. I'm black. I was born and raised in South Carolina, and I have experienced my share of racism, and I know I have some more to experience as I get older. As long as I'm black, I'm going to experience racism, and I'm going to be black until I die. So saying Black Lives Matter is a statement of fact for me because it's true. But you see, you can't put money on a statement of fact. You have to have something tangible to attach money or to attract money. And that is why they started doing the movement, Black Lives Matter movement, Black Lives Matter chapter, Black Lives Matter entity. And now they have this new thing called, what is it? The movement for Black Lives. You see, the Black Lives Matter movement is getting so much heat from so many different people of all races, ages, gender. People are starting to say, hey, wait, hold up. What's going on? So now they're trying to ease out of the Black Lives Matter movement, and now they're calling it the movement for Black Lives. The movement, the number 4, BL. Look for that because that's growing in popularity now. I don't support Black Lives Matter, and as the movement, and as a black woman, I'm taking heat. I expected to take heat from that. You know how we do in the black community. Anytime a black person speaks out about something wrong, instead of the black community looking at the wrong, they look at the person who's speaking out against the wrong. So they said, one lady told me that I am contributing to the divide in the black community by speaking out against the Black Lives Matter movement. I told her, I said, it seems like you're more concerned about me speaking out against this fraudulent movement than you are about the fraud the movement is creating. You're more concerned about me speaking out than you are about them stealing money from people who think they're giving money to benefit the community. That's sad. That's sad. But you expect that kind of stuff. You expect to be called a sellout. You expect to be called an Uncle Tom. You expect for people to use the analogy of the crabs in the bucket. You expect all of that. But I don't care. I'm going to still continue to speak out because it's wrong. I had a nonprofit organization. I still have it. I just don't offer programs underneath it. I offered 2 programs when it was operating. One was called Panorama Computer Learning, where I traveled around and taught people how to use Microsoft applications using laptop computers. And then the other one was called the Emerging Leaders Mentorship Program for Black Male Youth, where we prepare Black male youth to be successful in life. I know how it feels to be struggling trying to get grant money to operate the programs. And those were legitimate programs with transparent accounting, transparent activities. But it used to get on my last nerve when I would see people who weren't doing anything in the community getting grant money only because they had the name recognition, and we didn't. We did the work, but they got the money because of the name recognition. And that's what Black Lives Matter, the movement, is doing now. Everybody know about Black Lives Matter. Everybody knows about Black Lives Matter across the world. So it's easy for them to draw money. And that's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But I take pride in knowing that the tide is changing. It's going to be over. The house of cards are slowly falling down. Again, I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions. My website is www.trustsusanwoods.com. Please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you would like to continue following me on this Black Lives Matter Investigations series. or if you want to learn how to start, fund, manage, reinstate, or sustain 501c3 nonprofit organizations. I have classes on my website to cover those topics as well. Again, this is Susan Woods, and thank you for your time.